Hello, everyone. Coach Mo here. I am ready to rock and roll a Facebook Live, a podcast, or however and wherever you are listening to this message. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit because this one you got to hear. Everyone, most everyone in the professional world has had a dose of working from home over the last year and a half. Say yes, I know you have. If you're new to my work, I am Coach Mo Fall. I am a healthcare executive, retired and turned into a kick-ass, badass career coach. My secret strategy is to help you find your soul again and resuscitate that soul so that you can bring your soul to work and land your dream job. Funny thing is, some of our clients actually realize that they are in their dream job, but their programming and how they're viewing the world, their filter system is a bit out of whack. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit today because getting your perspective right is a big, big dose of why working from home can seem to be a bit more challenging than working in the office. Even though most people, from a perspective of convenience, prefer the work from home, although there are some who have had kids or have activity at home, and working from home is no bueno. It's up for discussion in our contemporary society of, can we be as successful working from home as we were in the office? Are we missing out on things? And there are plenty of companies who are really taking a strong look at this to see from a perspective not only of just efficiency and productivity, but of employee morale, of having the team feel connected in ways that may not be possible if you're not in person. We're social animals, folks, and not being social with people you rely on and have to trust and communicate with in the work world can be a bit dicey. And I'm going to talk about that today because that is the entire crux of whether you can be successful, promotable, move up, and actually feel a certain sense of fulfillment in your career. That's the reason why we work, is to feel a sense of fulfillment and connection to our purpose. Now, you may not have that. And if that's the case, I want to invite you to do one of two things, okay? Number one, if you haven't seen my webinar, 5 Shifts to Bring Your Soul to Work to Land Your Dream Job, the 5 shifts I take my clients through in our 12-week workshop, you're going to want to watch that. And you can watch it by signing up at mofall.com/FB Live. That's the way we make sure we know that you came in from the Facebook Live. If you're coming from my podcast, or if you're hearing this later and not live, certainly feel free to access that free training at mofall.com/FB Live. FB short for Facebook. And so it's mofall.com/FB Live. If you're one of my clients, shoot me a comment down here. Say hello. Let us know how you're doing today, how you're doing this week. If you're not a client, let me know what's going on and what's your career challenge. If this entire work from home thing has sort of got you down, it's maybe causing you to rough and tumble a little bit. And I'd love to say hello, and hello to Meg and Kim. Hey, ladies, I know that this work from home thing has put a wrench in a lot of people's thoughts and plans over the last year and a half. And we're going to be sorting it out as a society for sure. And here's the thing. We got to sort it out inside first so that you can then make wise choices about what is the best thing for you. So here's, of course, the litany and list of the things that might not be going so well if you're working from home. First of all, you may not be making the connections that you would ordinarily make. Secondly, you may not be feeling as visible. Thirdly, you may not know exactly how to get someone's attention that you used to be able to pop on over to their office. I'm bringing baseball into this one, folks. Hello, Dorothy. I'm bringing baseball into this. Why? I'm going to move my microphone out of the way because if I hit my microphone, maybe you heard that. I was in Louisville, Kentucky. Shout out to Louisville, Kentucky. Last week, doing a little bit of visiting and some work. And they are the home of the Louisville Slugger, made by Hilaric and Bradsby, who way back in the day, I learned all this stuff being attending the museum tour and the factory tour. Hilaric and Bradsby used to make butter churns. We don't even know what a butter churn is now. Folks, every single family in America back in the day had a butter churn because they put their cow's milk into the butter churn device to move the cow's milk back and forth, or churning it, but they made a new one. Hilaric and Bradsby was really cutting edge in the 1800s. They had a butter churn that rocked side by side, so you didn't have to put almost all that effort into churning to make butter. And they thought they were going to absolutely make their fortune on this new butter churn. Nothing like some green tea. What happened is the next generation got enamored with this new game called baseball. And one of the sons of the Hilaric and Bradsby family said, hey, we make wood stuff and we should make wood stuff like for baseball players. Well, baseball wasn't really that big of a thing as it is now. But they decided to start making baseball bats. This is a little miniature version, but I'm going to talk to you about this because I'm going to circle back around to the work from home thing. And those of you who know me and know how I coach, you know I can turn a metaphor into a huge aha moment. So stick with me. Stick with me. This is Coach Mo Fall, the founder, creator of not baseball bats, but the 12-week kick-ass career workshop where we help women find their soul, bring it back to life so they can land their dream job. If you have watched my webinar, you know what the 5 shifts are. But if you haven't, check it out. Here's how you can attend. I got my clarity call. So if you watch the webinar, cool. If you have not watched the webinar, you need to watch that at mofall.com/FB Live. If you have watched the webinar, book yourself a complimentary clarity call so we can see what your batting average is and how to make things better for you, increasing your batting average. And I'm going to just flip that camera right down so I'm not, there we go. And so here's the thing, what I learned at the Bat Factory, Louisville Slugger, a few things. Number one, you may have to pivot in today's day and age and be a different version of you. Even though you're made of the same stuff, that butter churn was made of wood and the baseball bat's made of wood. You may have to pivot in order to go into the next version of what work life looks like. Work life. Yep, that's it. What the next version of work life looks like for you. You may have to go from the wooden butter churn to making a baseball bat. Here's the other thing about working from home, folks. While working from home, you're going to have to connect with your other team members because you may be on first base and that next batter is, a home run was hit by Mo Fall when she hit her microphone. That actually probably exactly how they used to make home run sounds back in the broadcast booth. Home run. Sorry if that hurts your ears. It's kind of fun. Here's the thing. You have teammates, don't you? Yes, Kim, Mo will help you knock it out of the park. Thank you. Thank you, Dorothy. Yes, best call I ever made. Your soul is shining brightly. Not only that, Dorothy, but you look so much younger than when we first started working together. Bravo on that. Bravo, bravo. I have a unique way of helping women rise up and be a version that they haven't been able to figure out up until this point. It's called bringing your soul to work. It's called bringing your soul back to life. And on a baseball team, there's different players. And when you're on defense, that means in the field, you got to rely on all those players with you to make sure that the pitcher is pitching the right pitch, the catcher is catching the ball, and all the fielders are doing their thing. When you're at bat on the offense, it's a different game, isn't it? You're now having to hit in order to score. So here's the thing. When you're working from home, you need to be really clear, not just on what your title is. You need to be super clear on what your role is on that call, on that meeting. If you do not have clarity of what that role is that you have on that call, you are not going to succeed. You're not going to succeed not only working from home, but you're not going to succeed in your work. And if you're the leadoff hitter, you have a different job than the cleanup hitter. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you don't know baseball. We got to talk about that too. We'll cover baseball in our workshop, ladies. If you're in the current workshop, maybe we'll talk about baseball. I may actually bring my bat to our coaching call this week. I used to love baseball, played softball a lot. There's a story in there. And I love the whole idea of a team and how teams in sports teach us about teams at work. 3 ways to succeed while working from home. Number 1, know your role in the moment. But Mo, I'm the director of marketing and strategy. So when I'm on a call, aren't I always the director of marketing and strategy? No, you are not always that role. You got to know what your role is on that call. When you work from home, it's all about phone calls. It's all about Zoom calls, isn't it? Yep. And it's all about also carving out time so that you can do other work that's not FaceTime. Now, when you're in the office, you can close your door. You got to find a way to prioritize your work in a new way that is directed by you. I have a gal in one of my accelerator programs. She's a grad of ours, and she's been working with me for about 2 years now. And she's shifting from being in the educational sector, actually being in a school, and she is shifting into a different type of role in the education system. And she's doing some postdoc work, etc. So guess what? She's got to figure out her calendar, her schedule. No more bell in the hallway. It's this period. No more bell in the hallway, start and stop. So she has to pivot, and she has to name her priorities. When you work from home, number 1 is knowing your role in every single meeting, and number 2 is being the boss of your priorities. You can't rely on your boss for priorities. When you work from home, you got to be really super clear on what it is that you need to be doing. What kind of bat? What's your order in the lineup? What's the priority when you get up to bat? Number 3, the 3rd way to succeed while working from home is to be the most awesome version of you all the time. So, when you're working, let me just turn this puppy off here. When you're working, when you are working, when you are showing up for work, you can't be a work from home type of personality. You have to be a superstar personality. You can't just show up and dial it in, so to speak. We used to call it dialing it in, phoning it in. What you want to do every single call, every single day is you got to get ready to be in the game. Now, I know earlier on in the work from home with the pandemic and everything, we were just barely making it to the work hours. We were just barely getting ourselves dressed. I understand that. Now, I've been working from home for 7 years now, and some of my clients have been working home for over a decade. If you're new to this working from home thing, you have to appreciate for yourself that you're in charge of your work, of your time. No cats on the keyboard. If a dog is at your feet, that's cool. I remember the early days when, naked kids would be running into the office behind, running in the door, or people would like not have pants on. It was a really funny ha 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 type of thing. You got to be ready to play. Show up, wear makeup, put on a nice blouse, wear your jewelry, be in your power phase. Now, I'm probably telling you something that you might already know. Probably telling you something you already know about that, but I'm going to tell you something. You have got to maintain your game self, not as a faker, not as a massive effort, but because it's who you are. And this is our magic in my workshop. My magic in the workshop is to help you feel awesome from inside and help you feel powerful from inside, so you're not faking it till you make it. I don't like that phase very much at all. That's almost like going up to bat and knowing that you're not going to get a hit, and yet like pretending you're going to get a hit. We don't fake it till you make it. You know what we do? Practice. That's what we do with practice. Just like baseball. You're going to go up to bat. You better practice. You better know how to hit the ball. And if you don't know how to hit the ball, you better find someone who can teach you and show you. My 5 shifts webinar, I talk about investing in mentoring, because every successful person who's able to do something they've never done before has had to have found someone who's done the thing that they haven't done to learn from them. And so many of my clients have not gotten promoted or not moved to that next level up. I got a gal right now. I'm telling her she's playing at a VP level. Nah, I think I should be director at a different company, a bigger company. I should do this. That's why you're not a VP. Practice being the most awesome version of you, and you'll finally see that you've been holding yourself back. Look, I know, because I had a 35+ year career where I up-leveled myself many times after getting fired, getting reorged out, being told I was a certain way. I don't think so. You're not always accepted in all the environments that you've been working in. So many of our clients, people are going to be tuning into this and going, why does she have a baseball bat in her hand? Don't you love it? It's like a little miniature baseball bat. I just love this stuff. When I was a little girl, my dad used to take us to baseball games. I knew how to score baseball games when I was little, and I loved that challenge. I remember getting a little baseball bat when I went to a Cleveland Indians game with my dad, and it probably didn't survive the moves since then. But I just recently got this from Louisville. It's the Roberto Clemente commemorative Louisville Slugger, miniature version. Roberto Clemente was a great hero in the Puerto Rican and Pittsburgh communities for the work that he did with the poor folks in Puerto Rico in the 70s when he was on the Pittsburgh Pirates, and he died tragically in a plane crash. Roberto Clemente trivia. Didn't know you were going to get that here. Mo, what? You're dishing out all sorts of stuff. So you can look up Roberto Clemente on the internet and find out what an awesome dude he was. And you can remind yourself of the 3 ways to succeed while working from home. Number 1, you got to know what your role is on every single meeting. Am I in charge? Am I subservient? Am I a team member? Am I someone who's inserting her opinion? Am I someone who's yielding to someone else? Am I trying to influence or impact others? You got to know your role in every call. You're not just your title. And if you play it just with that linearity, you're going to lose. You're going to lose the game. You have to think more dimensionally. It's really amazing that the baseball diamond is a diamond, because it's a very symmetrical object, a diamond. And each and every baseball game is played on the same dimensions. You don't have that in corporate America, do ya? No, but you still have to know your role, and you have to Own that role each and every time. If you don't know how to assess that, if you don't know how to figure that out, if you don't know how to connect the dots, and you're always just playing the same role, no matter where you are in the meeting, no matter what's up and down. And I'm going to give you my other pet peeve. Do not ever play the devil's advocate role. No! Devil's advocates are not popular. They're not liked. They're not helpful. If that's something that you find yourself going to, try a different strategy. Because as an executive, if someone said, I don't want to be the negative person here, but I'm just being the devil's advocate, you're basically not taking responsibility for what you're saying. You're like using some lame excuse. Don't do that. That takes your power away, and it also turns you into the complainer, negative Nilly. Don't be a devil's advocate. Don't play that role. It's a bad role, and no one likes it. If you have a friend at work who plays a devil's advocate role, you have them watch my stuff and pick up the phone, which is actually the internet, and book themselves a complimentary career clarity call, because we got to talk to them. And if that's you, you need our help. Okay? You need our help. And that's at mofall.com/live clarity. Book your complimentary career clarity call. Here's the thing. You know, all good batters, every single good baseball player has a batting coach. Well, they're in the major leagues. Why do they need a coach for their batting? Because they want to get better. If you want to get better at your career, you need a coach. So your 3 ways to succeed while working from home. Number 1, know what your role is on every single call. Number 2, show up powerfully every single day. Number 3, invest in a mentor or a coach who can help you swing the right way, who can help you field those balls. I'm going to tell you something else about the Louisville Slugger Museum and Factory that I went to, but first, a dose of green tea. And ladies, if you're here and you're one of my clients, say hello. Say hello. If you're watching this live, say hello. Pop on. If you're not watching this live, put a comment here and do hashtag replay. And we'd be happy to comment and find your comments there. So a baseball bat is made of wood. We've talked about that. The Hillerick and Bradsby Company used to make butter churns out of wood. And they shifted in the 1800s, 1850s, 60s, 70s, 80s, when baseball was starting to peak up, and they started making baseball bats. I got to think it was a much easier thing to make. That butter churn had a lot of parts. There was a picture of it in the factory and the museum. A baseball bat has one part. If you know anything about woodwork, you know that in order to make wood into a shape like this, a single piece of wood, you need a lathe, L-A-T-H-E, a lathe, with lots of sharp razor edges. This baseball bat starts out as a piece of wood. And there's a word for it. I'm forgetting what the word is. But it's a chunk of wood that looks the shape of the baseball bat, long. And certain baseball bats are certain sizes, so the piece of wood that it gets crafted from and carved from starts out at a certain size. I'm telling you more about baseball bats than you want to know, but again, I'm going to bring this back to you. I'm going to bring this back to you in such a way you're going to be like, what? So that piece of wood gets harvested for a Louisville Slugger baseball bat in a woods on the New York-Pennsylvania border. They only take birch, maple, and ash trees after they're 65 years old. Retirement age for most humans, when a tree is just ready enough for a baseball bat. Here's the thing. They then chop that tree up into pieces so that they get a bunch of long pieces of wood. And then they put it in the lathe so that it gets carved out exactly the size and shape of that bat for that player. If you're in the major leagues, they're making bats for you. And your framework and format, the weight of the bat, the length of the bat, is all, I just got a splinter, based on your dimensions of a hitter. And you can make your bat a certain shape and size based on the specs of the lathe. And here's the thing. You don't even know what the specs are for the baseball bat unless you know enough about baseball and you're hitting to know what feels right. So gals, I only work with professional women who have education, expertise, and experience, because you got to have the specs for your career for us to be able to help you and coach you. And we will help fine-tune that education, experience, and expertise into the right bat for you to hit. If you're on a Zoom call and you're the director of marketing and it's all VPs and you're going to be probably a little intimidated. You may not know how to speak up properly. You may not know when to speak up, and you may then shut yourself down. They might actually help shut you down. And then you're going to be all confused. Am I the director of marketing or what? What's going on here? You got to have a sharp and powerful soul in order to play the role that you got to play in that meeting, in order to play the role you got to play every single day, in order to show up ready to play ball, being on top of your game every day. Look, I know we all have bad days, but you got to do certain things every single morning in order to be the version of you. That's going to be awesome. And you know what? So few people are working on themselves. So few people take responsibility. But if you're in the pros, you are taking responsibility. Pro baseball players, they work on their craft. They have coaches for running, coaches for throwing, coaches for batting. Why? Because performance matters. If you're just doing a job and your head's down and you're working from home, just head down, you're not going to get ahead. You're not going to succeed. You're going to do a job. When you succeed in your career, it's worth hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to you. If you move forward in your career like our clients do, 30,000, 50,000, 70,000, 110,000 more. I got a gal who wasn't working for 2 years. Now she's making almost 90. We helped her get an extra week of vacation. Not working for 2 years at a 90K salary is $180,000 loss. And truthfully, she was ready to totally throw the whole thing away. And we helped her see the truth. We helped her see what she was worthy of, what she brought to the table. We put that bat back in her hands and had her swing away, swing for the fences. And in less than 12 weeks, she landed a dream job owning her power. Batting the way that she knows how to bat. Her bat totally made in the shape and size that she needed for her. Not for me, for her. And Deidre, playing at a higher level in the CFO role, she'll make $1 million, almost $2 million more in her career because of the moves she made working with us. Or Alex, 70K base plus packages and stock options. She's going to make over $1 million more also. You know, you might think you're in a job and you might be thinking, oh, work from home, chicka. Listen, here is the deal. Your career is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars over the next year, 2 years, 3 years. It's over millions of dollars over your lifetime. If you should be making $200,000 a year and you work for 40 years at that level, that's $8 million. If you work at $100,000 a year and you should be at 200, you're going to lose $4 million. I don't know about you, but that's a baseball contract. $4 million difference in earnings because you didn't know how to move up. You didn't know how to succeed. You didn't know how to hit a home run. You didn't have the right batting coach. You didn't have the right bat in your hands. $4 million. I mean, we're not talking about a couple of thousand. We're not talking about chump change here. Your career is the biggest investment you will ever have in your life. Your career is going to perform better than real estate. It's going to perform better than stocks. Your career is real money. And the difference of making the money that you ought to be making versus what you are making has to do with your soul, has to do with your strategy, and it has to do with not having the tools to show up for yourself every single day because you got family pulling at your ass all the time. I know about that. We help our clients totally own their power. and say yes to their family in powerful ways and not taking on every single burden. Through the pandemic, we suffered a she session. And I've talked about this a few times. I'm going to talk about it even more because women's careers took the biggest backslide that they've taken ever. Women's careers took such a backslide that if you're a typical woman who had to navigate the pandemic, you lost between $350,000 or over $1.2 million if you're a college-educated professional. That was the backslide, according to McKinsey, the research that they did on women's career losses through the pandemic. And if that's you, we can help you out. We can absolutely help you own your skills, your talents, and your soul's power. Thanks, Meg, for my great metaphor. Yes, indeed. You know what this piece is? This is the end of the bat. Okay, that's the end of the wooden dowel that was made into the bat. And then as they are smoothing the bat, okay, this is at the end of the bat. And they are making and sanding the end of the bat so that it's nice, smooth edges. See that? If you can see that in my camera. And with major league bats that are regulation size, they actually carve out the top to take a little weight off of the bat so you get the power of the bat with not all the weight. Again, the metaphor continues to provide a great metaphor. When your soul is brought into its full power, it's not going to be heavy. And when your soul is at its full power, you're going to be able to play at a higher level of your career and not have it weigh you down. So many women don't move up in their careers because they think, well, if I'm a director and I'm working 60 hours a week, if I'm a VP, I can't possibly work more hours. They're not paying you for the hours. If you're a professional woman, you're not getting paid by the hour of work. You're getting paid for what you bring to the table, the impact and influence you bring to the table. If you're not batting correctly, you're all screwed up and you're going to get out of the batting order. You're not going to be successful. So you need a powerful identity. You need to actually own your power every single day and show up big and ready and ready. You need to invest in mentoring. You need the right batting coach. Ladies, your career is so important to yourself, to your esteem, to your future, to your finances. It's so important in so many ways. Invest in the right mentor. If it's not me, that's cool. Go find yourself someone who's more awesome than me. Good luck trying. And you got to get your soul back to life. That's your superpower. And that's how we have so many awesome client success stories and how we help our ladies really soar. If you don't feel great about yourself, you are not going forward. You are not advancing if you don't feel awesome. If you're afraid of more work, if you're afraid of being more powerful, you're not going to succeed while working from home. And you're not going to succeed working in your office. But if you're working from home, and if that's the style of work that you've chosen or that your company has chosen, don't make it be a lazy option. Allow yourself the benefit of showing up strong and powerfully each and every day, each and every call. You're going to have more power working from home than you ever did working from your office. And I've talked with thousands of women, and they're like, oh, I just want to work from home, just want to work from home. It's not the answer for all things, okay? You lose a lot of power if you don't have your soul's power powering you when you work from home, because you got to give a lot more to the screen than you do when you're in person around a conference table. Trust me, I know it. I'm an expert, and I'm a great batting coach, and I know a lot about baseball. I know a lot about what it takes to be successful no matter what. This is career coach Mo Fall hitting it out of the park for you today on the 3 ways to succeed while working from home. And all of them have an element of taking responsibility for yourself and learning how to bring your soul back to life. Be powerful in each meeting. Be aware of your role. Be powerful and ready for your at-bat every single day. Be ready. Be batter ready. And then invest in mentoring. Those of you who are my current clients, I can't wait to see you this week in the coaching. Those of you who are grads, I always love you showing up for these inspirational talks. Remember to dive back into the access of your modules. Remember to dive back into our grad group. If you're not working with me, you're probably missing out on feeling awesome, and you're probably missing out on the best strategies to bring your soul to life and to land your dream job. So why don't you think about booking a complimentary career call? Take action. Be responsible for yourself. mofall.com/live-clarity, and we will help diagnose what's really going on in your career and help understand whether we're the right fit for you. Are we the best batting coach for you? We can find out on that complimentary career clarity call. Again, it's mofall.com/live-clarity. Let's get your soul back to life, and let's help you land your dream job. Get the right coach. Batter up. See you next time. It's Career Coach Mo Fall, mofall.com, and everywhere on social media, ballparks all around the USA. We'll see you next time here for Coach Mo Live, and it's fantastic to see all of you ladies here. Have a great week. Batter up.